On the Talkback Show, on the radio, or whatever audiovisual device you choose to use. Welcome to the GBC Podcast, where we talk about the Packers and our hometown of Green Bay. We are the official podcast of the Lot 1 Tailgate Party, which is at Lambeau Field every home game. This is episode 107, created May 14th, 2025. I'm John. I'm in Appleton, Wisconsin. Along with me, Jeff in Minnesota and Neil on the East Coast. Say hello, gentlemen, and tell us what you're drinking.
Hello, everyone. We're going to be traveling a lot this fall, and I'm going to need to leave some breadcrumbs in order to find where I am. And appropriately, I am having a Trail Marker West Coast IPA.
Good evening. Tonight, I'm having from Montana Whiskey Company, the Blackfoot River Bourbon, thanks to John. Appreciate it.
It was an impulse buy, Jeff. I'm glad you like it. All right. And from the Stubborn Brothers Brewery in Shawano, Wisconsin, I'm having a cherry drop top citrus sour radler. You can find us on YouTube and Twitter at Green Bay Chat and Facebook at the GBC Podcast, Green Bay Chat. And just the audio is available on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify by searching for Green Bay Chat. Well, the topic this week, it is the NFL schedule release day, and that's about it. We will be announcing the GBC Podcast road trip to let you know where we are going this season. But before we get there, let's break down the 18 weeks of the NFL season. I know you guys are excited.
Can we talk first about how we got to that point? Because the actual NFL schedule relief is so anticlimactic, but the excitement of the days leading up, and especially that day of the schedule release, you get these little leaks that are going back and forth, and John and I are texting each other constantly, and you're reading every little bit you can find on Twitter, and it's like playing schedule Tetris the entire day. As you're sort of, wow, are the Bears here? Where's the bye week going to be? Where are the Steelers going to fit in? Where does everything go? And then we eventually find out, and then, okay, well, it's all boring, but it was exciting for the full day.
That's my point, that the anticipation is typically the best part of things. That's why I like the tailgate party. It's the anticipation of the event. But we should say a special thanks to an account called NFL Nerd on Twitter. He had a grid up that was spectacular to follow as certain breadcrumbs, as Neil put them, got dropped and we got to take a look at. And we found, people of varying levels of knowledge or whether they really had inside sources, some of their rumors and some of their prognostications as well.
We got some key pieces of information early that we're playing Detroit in the home opener and that Washington is coming to Green Bay for the second week for Thursday night football. And that basically set the tone for a lot of the attitude that I think Packers fans have for this season.
Well, let's take a look at the first 2 weeks. A great, very interesting start to the season. On a Sunday, it's an afternoon matchup. And the season opener is always very exciting. And now you add the Detroit Lions to this. It's going to be September. It's going to be just after the Labor Day weekend. So, the season, as they call it up north, has ended. I look at our friends in the Upper Peninsula. These folks in the UP, they kind of have dual citizenship as far as being Packers fans and Lions fans. To me, this is going to be a great post-summer season for them to really invade Green Bay and have a great weekend.
I'm going to be there for the home opener because the home opener is always special, even if you're playing a team like the Colts like we did last year. But to have the Lions, a marquee matchup for the entire season as our home opener, is a big deal.
However, cautionary tale, with the preseason games, historically, certainly under Matt LaFleur, not a lot of care and feeding was done during the preseason games. And so we started flat a lot of the years recently. And we cannot start flat in game one against Detroit. We just cannot.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur better not fucking blow off the preseason. That's all I have to say about that.
I will say the one season that Green Bay opened against Chicago, the division rival, I feel like they were more serious in the preseason. They came out and played to win in that game. So, yes, I agree, Jeff. I would like to see them be serious about the preseason and play to win in week one. And that first week of the season is interesting in the sense for the Packers. It is one of those Sunday, Thursday events where the Packers are at home on Sunday, and then they get to stay in town as the Washington Commanders come in on Thursday for the Thursday night matchup, the first of the Amazon Prime games this season.
Yeah, this is a continuation on that theme, though, that we need to start off strong in the season And in particular, we're facing two teams that we're going to be rivals with for the playoffs. We've got two of our only 8 home games in the season right off the bat. We need to take advantage of it being Lambeau Field is the dominant home field stadium in the NFL. We need to set that tone right off the bat in weeks 1 and 2.
Because worst case, we cannot start 0-2. This is going to test us very early on.
I also look at it from the fan perspective. This is always an interesting week of tailgating when it's a Monday-Thursday matchup. The other part of that is that Thursday game is a gold package game. That means our Milwaukee friends are going to be coming up. Ideally, they're coming up on a Thursday, and they're not selling those tickets for this matchup.
You'll hear more about my opinions on that later, but I think this is actually a case where we've got an advantage with it being a Thursday after Monday going home to home. And those Thursday games always have a randomness associated with them. And we've got to play the Commanders at some point. This is not actually a terrible way to do it, assuming we play the preseason properly.
So after that Thursday night matchup, the Packers effectively get 10 days until their next game. Sunday, September 21st. It'll be a noon matchup in Cleveland. What's interesting about this is the talks in Cleveland that they might build a new stadium somewhere away from the downtown. This could be a last opportunity to get to the Cleveland Stadium right on Lake Erie, right next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So, being that this is an early season game in Cleveland, lots to do and see around Cleveland, could this be where the GBC might be heading? Stay tuned.
Oh, we know we like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's right. The week after that, another road trip. It is at Dallas. This is the first of a few Sunday night matchups. Sunday, September 28th in Dallas.
Yeah!
I went to Dallas one time, Neil. This was like 30 years ago. And it was like the first time I ever went to Dallas. And I called my parents and says, "Hey, guess where I am?" They said, "Where?" I said, "I'm in Dallas." And my dad goes, "Oh, are you going to the book depository building?" Yes, wow. That's why I'm in Dallas. And he has held it against me that I never went to the book depository building. So if we go to Dallas, we'll go visit the book depository building as well.
For Super Bowl 45, I did watch it not in the stadium, but in Dallas. And let me just say, Dallas is not the place to go if you're in the Dallas Metroplex. Go to Fort Worth instead, for Pete's sake.
Week 5, it's the bye week. It's an early bye. Get a nice little nap at the start of the season. Jeff, you like that bye week early, don't you?
Depending on how the season starts, this is either going to interrupt some momentum or it's going to be a much needed break. Coming off of 2 road games, I think this is good. We're not used to seeing early season bye weeks for the Packers. Typically, they've been kind of mid to late season. So we'll see what they do with the early season bye this year.
The bye week was certainly one of the most exciting parts of the schedule pre-build-up Tetris, because we had the bye week anywhere between week 5 and 14, and it was dogs and cats living together, I tell you.
I thought week 6 was going to get the bye at one point, but week 5, it works as well. And Jeff, you also mentioned it coming off of 2 road games. This is a relatively balanced schedule all the way across the board. 2 home, 2 road to start. And then it's back and forth after that, and never any more than 2 either at home or 2 on the road the rest of the way through. So it is a nice balanced schedule.
But we do have 4 of our last 6 games on the road. So there's definitely challenges to look forward to at the end of the season. It's why you need to build up that momentum early on in the season.
And 3 of the first 5 at home. And that brings us to week 6, Sunday, October 12th. The Cincinnati Bengals and our friend Bengal Jim coming to Green Bay.
Joe Burrow at Lambeau is going to be fun.
4 years ago, we found ourselves in Cincinnati for our inaugural road trip. So it'll be nice kind of coming full circle at Cincinnati now 4 years on. And again, hopefully Bengal Jim. But, this is my birthday week as well, mid-October. And we'd like to see Cincinnati come in. We'd love to be hospitable, great hosts, but hopefully Cincinnati will leave with a loss.
All right, Jeff. And on the back end of your birthday week on Sunday, October 19th, the Packers travel to Phoenix, Arizona to take on the Cardinals on a Sunday afternoon matchup where our other friend Jim lives.
And I've got a bunch of cousins there as well. So it's certainly a potential destination that could be a lot of fun.
With back-to-back road games then, it brings us up to week 8. Week 8 is Sunday, October 26th. Kind of Halloween weekend or the weekend before Halloween. It is a Sunday night matchup, or currently a Sunday night matchup at Pittsburgh and the Yinzer Mob. And I say currently because, Jeff, you noted the flex scheduling or potential flex scheduling starts early this year.
Yeah, it starting week 6, the little asterisk appears. Some games are locked in, but it seems like the NFL is kind of giving themselves a little more flexibility here or an out if there's a team that the thought is that they're going to be good, when in fact, if there's a catastrophic injury or something happens, that they can put more entertaining or better quality games on to prime time.
I mean, clearly we got the Sunday night football game here because they expect that Aaron Rodgers is going to be going to Pittsburgh. And if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to Pittsburgh, is this game going to be flexed out?
Right. And there was also a lot of speculation with Pittsburgh being in Dublin this year that maybe Green Bay was going to be in that game as well. But Neil, I was going to ask you, being the statistician and the scientist who likes dealing in probabilities, what is the probability that Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of Pittsburgh in Week 8?
I need to take some magic mushrooms to get the answer to that question. I've got to enter into a different state entirely.
Grab the ayahuasca. Okay, we'll get you set up. Let's go to Week 9. We are back in Green Bay in Week 9 and in the month of November. Sunday, November 2nd, it is a noon matchup as the Carolina Panthers come into town. And if there is one game that is befitting of a noon Sunday game on this schedule, it is the Panthers at the Packers.
I think that says it all, John. I think this is one where, is it must-see TV? Well, no, perhaps not. Is it a solid home game after coming off of 2 road games? Yes. So back to the home crowd. Kind of, it'll be, maybe a little chill in the air at this point in early November. It'll be good to be back home.
This is actually what I consider the only actual dog home game we have all season. Of course, this means Carolina's going to take off and be the team of the year, but all other 7 games that we have at Lambeau Field, you can make an argument on paper why they should be fabulous games. Hopefully this is fabulous because we just blow the shit out of them.
I know Neil has a comment about the gold package coming up here next, but I'm going to say I feel that the team, instead of just saying it's always the 2nd and 5th home games, they need to say, we'll make the determination of the gold package games when the schedule comes out, because really that Bengals game and the Panthers game, those would have been great gold package games. I don't know about the Thursday night game. And then specifically this next one, Neil, it is Monday Night Football, Monday, November 10th. The Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles come to Green Bay, and it is a gold package game.
It should be an electric night in Lambeau Field if the Packers are doing what we expect them to be doing. And I'm looking forward to the Packers fans showing up, making a lot of noise and cheering on the home team appropriately. Eagles fans have to come a long way to get to this game, just like the Commanders fans. It's a long way to go. They got to deal with all of the hotel issues that bother them so much that caused them to not come to the NFL draft. Let's see the gold package do what they're going to do, the way that we expect that all Packers fans should do.
Huge game. This could be for first place in the conference. If Philadelphia does what they're expected to do and what we hopefully will do, what we're expecting is to have a great team, great record. This is going to be a huge matchup.
And our friend Scott, who we interviewed back in February, I hope we can twist his arm and get him to come back to Green Bay for another Packer game. After that, the Green Bay Packers travel Sunday, November 16th to the city so nice, Neil, they named it twice in New York City. Well, it's not really New York City, but it is the New York Giants. Instead of the NYC, it's the NYG.
That's a game that I will absolutely beat you. It's a close stadium for me.
Going against the Giants, even though it's on the road, hopefully it'll be kind of a breather for us.
Jeff, you saw the game where Danny DeVito just completely skewered us as a team when the Giants that year stunk. So I think we've got to make sure we don't have that mindset.
That's true. No team can be taken lightly in the NFL, including one led by Mr. DeVito.
So after the trip to the East Coast, it gets really interesting at the end of the season. So of the last 7 games of the season, 5 of them against division rivals, in the first one on that Sunday, November 23rd. And speaking of going to games, Neil, that is also the start of deer hunting season. Sunday, November 23rd, a noon matchup, Packers-Vikings.
I will certainly be coming back for that game. The chance to actually see the Vikings at home, no matter what the Vikings are doing with the season, no matter what J.J. McCarthy does, it's going to be fun. If it's a competitive game where both teams are fighting for the division, great. If the Vikings kind of stink and we get to beat up on them, great. Either one is a great option.
And you're right, Neil. If the Vikings aren't very good, beating up on them at Lambeau would be great, and starting a really tough schedule against lots of division opponents here. If the Vikings aren't that good, it would be a welcome treat to beat up on the Vikings at home.
And it is another short week then as we go into week 13. It is the Thursday, November 27th, noon game, a Thursday Thanksgiving noon game. This year they changed the time from 11:30 a.m. But the Packers traveling to Detroit once again. Packers, Lions, Thanksgiving.
What more could you ask for? We had great success in Detroit in Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Hopefully they can find that same success and really start the push to the playoffs and make this a statement game against, again, another division rival 2 weeks in a row.
And with another 10 days off, it is really the oh my part of the schedule as it goes Vikings, Lions, and Bears.
Oh my.
Sunday, December 7th, noon, Chicago Bears coming to Green Bay.
I think the NFL, when looking at the green package versus gold package, heard all of the complaints of last year. All the division games were gold package. We got all the division games as green package this year. And I think the Packers fans, no matter where they're coming from, are going to be up for trying to put the Bears back in their place, back in their rightful place below the Packers in the pecking order.
One of our favorite road trips 2 years ago, a beautiful day in the Rocky Mountains. We went to Denver. Well, the Packers are going back to Denver again this year. It is Sunday, December 14th. It is a late game because it is in Denver, but a December matchup, a chance to bring the snow pants, Neil.
Always with the snow pants, John. You live in Wisconsin. You should have a little bit of acclimation to the weather.
I have 3 pairs of snow pants ready to go for that game, Neil.
After a road trip into the Mile High City, we've got another road game and a familiar foe. The second time in 3 weeks, we visit Chicago and take on the Bears.
As we were playing scheduled Tetris today, I noted to John the possibility of the Bears in both weeks 14 and week 16. And John's reaction was just,
fuck. And the funny thing is everybody prognosticating. There isn't a person who speculated that. Why would they put the Packers and the Bears 2 weeks apart like that? But they do. Not even 2 weeks. It's less than 2 weeks. It's Sunday the 7th, and then it's a Saturday. It's part of that Saturday doubleheader on December 20th.
And on top of this, it's the first time we're going to get to play a game in the Pope's hometown. So we've got a lot of things going against us here.
The other thing about the schedule Tetris that was weird, Neil, is the speculation. Now, last season, all of the teams that played on that Saturday before Christmas ended up in Christmas Day games. Well, that's because Christmas Day was a Wednesday last year. This year being a Thursday, there's really that Sunday, Thursday, there's no big deal. So when that Saturday doubleheader schedule came out, a lot of speculation that Green Bay was going to get a Christmas Day game this year, but alas, they do not.
Thankfully.
So week 17, it is a home game as the Baltimore Ravens are going to make their way to Green Bay. And that is a to be determined. Could be a Saturday game, could be a Sunday game. At this point, we do not know.
All that I care about is that this is a Christmas that I'm in Green Bay. It is going to be a perfect time with family to all of us go to the game and see the Packers together. It's going to be a great game no matter what. And getting to see Lamar Jackson, again, another NFL marquee quarterback. Beautiful slate of games.
And with the TBD scheduled at this point, I think the NFL is really hoping that this is going to be a marquee game. If both teams do what they're supposed to do, I think this is going to be really, really competitive. And like you said, Neil, Lamar Jackson at Lambeau Field in December, get some snow going, get the whole thing.
As long as it's not 200 yards from Derrick Henry that destroys us. The running backs having a big game is always in play once you get to those late December games.
And finally, in week 18, another game. At this point, we do not know, but it will be in Minnesota. It is that first weekend of January, the 3rd and 4th, and it is a bookend to that last 7 weeks of the season. Minnesota starts things off in Green Bay on November 23rd. We end it in Minnesota in that week 18. Jeff, are you finally ready to do a Vikings game in Minnesota?
I don't know, John. Why don't you ask me later?
Think
you sound as fucking fair weather as the Vikings fan, for God's sake, Jeff. Make a fucking decision.
With that said, Neil, we need to tell people our decision. We are, once again, taking the GBC podcast on the road. We've looked at the entire 18-week NFL schedule. We've analyzed all of the road games, and the nominees are Week 3 at Cleveland and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Week 4 at Dallas and the Book Depository Building. Week 7 at Phoenix and a visit to our friend Jim. And week 8 at Pittsburgh and seeing once again the Yinzer Mob. And Neil, 2 years ago, you did visit that Yinzer Mob.
And just as the NFL draft announced that they were going to Pittsburgh next year, we are going to Pittsburgh this year with Lynn Swan leading us on.
Woohoo!
Yes, I did go to the game in Pittsburgh 2 years ago. I had a fabulous time. Pittsburgh, first of all, is a very underrated city. It's got this lovely convergence of the three rivers, a downtown right at the three. The stadium is right against the water. The people were fabulous in Pittsburgh. Went and tailgated with a number of Steelers fans who were there. I'm really looking forward to it because Pittsburgh likes to contrast itself with its unfriendly neighbor across the state. They make the case that they are not Eagles fans. They're a lot more like Packers fans. Pittsburgh is really like going back to the Midwest. It just happens to be an East Coast state.
And the Steelers were in Green Bay 4 years ago. That Yinzer mob, those guys came to the Lot 1 tailgate party. We are really looking to tailgate with the Pittsburgh fans. When we look at the road trips that we have done, Cincinnati, Buffalo, these were great road trips. Pittsburgh should be the same thing. We are ready to go for a beautiful October day and Sunday night football, Packers at Steelers, a classic matchup.
And oh, by the way, if our former Hall of Fame quarterback is playing for the Steelers, there's a little storyline there too.
Might have to get a Rodgers jersey just for the game, right, Neil? Or you could wear your Jet Favre jersey. I want
that
you to
would be
Jet
the one.
Favre
Just poke the beast. But no, it's going to be the Packers who are going to be there. It's going to be a fun weekend. I'm really looking forward to being there with you guys and hanging out with the Steelers fans and just making it a joyous weekend.
All right, I've got the room booked already. We are ready to go. We will be heading to Pittsburgh. I'm sure we'll be talking about that more as the season goes on. Yes, there are going to be some preseason games. The Packers get 2 preseason games with the Jets coming to town and the Seahawks coming to town. Who cares? That's preseason, right?
As long as our starters play. I do care, actually, because I want Jordan Love to practice throwing to these new wide receivers, getting those old wide receivers, getting them all back together. I need our line to gel and figure where it is. I don't want that all done in practice against the Packers defensive starters. I want to see them doing it in a game. So we've got a plan heading into the season that is battle tested in games, even though it's only going to be a quarter or two. It's going to be better than nothing. And I'm looking forward to seeing that progression.
We cannot shit the bed in week 1 like we've done in the past.
Neil, check your nipples. Are you okay?
These nipples are hard, baby.
And it's only May. We have got some time to go until we get
Good
to
Lord.
the regular season. Jeff, you okay? All right. We're going to wrap this up and let's get some final thoughts, taking a look at the schedule, the season, everything else going on. Jeff, what do you got?
Schedule release day, May 14th. It's not Christmas, but it's close. We knew who we were facing. Now we know the most important component, when. We've got a very interesting schedule, lots of dynamics. Hopefully we can start out quickly, go into the midpoint of the season. We get a road trip in there, visiting Pittsburgh, which should be fantastic, and the history there, and then finish strong. So is this a playoff team? Absolutely. Will it be really fun to watch the development of the players we just drafted in Green Bay, coming off that energy from the draft in Green Bay, and looking forward to a really, really exciting 2025 with this schedule release.
Naturally, I'm looking forward to tailgating. I like the start of the season with the back-to-back games on Sunday and Thursday. I like the 2 December home games with the Bears and the Ravens coming to town. I like the fact that our friend Bengal Jim is coming to Green Bay in October. Yeah, we got a couple of gold package games that are Thursday and Monday nights. Doesn't matter. Gold package, green package, rain, snow, no matter what, we will be there. The Lot 1 tailgate party will continue on, and we're looking forward to 8 great home games, as well as 1 great road game, tailgating in Pittsburgh.
I want to go back to these gold package games. Washington and Philadelphia, 2 of the premier teams in the NFC, 2 teams with dynamic quarterbacks, 2 teams that are very well coached. They're both going to develop. They're going to be a test of where our team is. These are fabulous games that you should want to attend. So I have a challenge to people who complain about the gold package. Put your fucking money where your fucking mouth is. There are going to be tickets available because there are challenges for travel, and there are going to be tickets, which means if you want to go to those games, you can go to those games. There will be tickets available. You can buy tickets yourself. You don't have to sit on your ass in front of the television. You can actually be one of the people cheering at Lambeau. And if you don't buy a ticket, shut the fuck up. Attend the games or forfeit your right to complain about the gold package forever. Go Pack, go.
All right. And we'll see how those fans turn out when the season comes around. I'm sure we'll talk about it some more when the time comes. We're looking forward to a great summer. We'll be back to talk training camp as the time comes. But for now, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit subscribe, leave a comment, find the GBC podcast at Green Bay Chat. That is all one word, Green Bay Chat. We are on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Blue Sky, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And on Facebook, we are the GBC Podcast Green Bay Chat, and you can follow us on any and all of those social media platforms. And may you fully appreciate the magnitude of your impending good fortune. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.